was in the middle of the summer, and my parents had left for the weekend to stay at our house in Cape Cod, about 2 hours away. No big deal to leave me home alone for a couple of days, they figured. My mom had even left me some pulled pork and pasta to heat up, and I had enough money to order a pizza if I felt like it. The first night was great. I stayed up until 3 a.m. gaming, enjoying the quiet house, and then slept late into the next day. When I finally woke up, it was past 1 p.m. I'd promised to meet some friends to play street hockey at 3, so I reluctantly dragged myself out of bed and stumbled into the shower. With no one home, I took my time. I'm the type who spends ages in the shower, and this time I lost track, scrolling through Reddit and Twitter for about 45 minutes. That's when I heard it, the unmistakable creak of our front door opening. The bathroom is right at the top of the stairs, leading up from the back door, and in our old house, you can't miss the sound of that door. My parents were supposed to be gone, and I knew I was alone. I stood perfectly still, listening intently for any other sound, but there was only silence. I brushed it off, convincing myself it was probably just the wind, or maybe the door hadn't latched properly. Still a bit uneasy, I turned off the shower, wrapped myself in a towel, and slowly headed downstairs to check things out. Our staircase is narrow and completely enclosed, so as I went down, I couldn't see into the kitchen where the back door was. The old wood creaked loudly under my feet, but I tried to step carefully, hoping to stay as quiet as possible. When I reached the last step, I paused, took a deep breath, and forced myself to calm down. This was ridiculous. There was obviously no one in the kitchen. I'd have heard something if anyone had come in or was moving around. Laughing at myself for being so paranoid, I finally stepped down, rounded the corner into the kitchen, and there, 2 feet away from me, in the middle of the kitchen, stood a man. He was perfectly still, staring straight at me with an unnatural smile stretched across his face. But it wasn't his face that horrified me the most. It was his arms. They weren't just hanging at his sides, but were twisted in a way that looked physically impossible. His arms seemed rotated, almost backward, and raised just slightly, as if they were caught mid-motion in some strange, unnatural pose. My heart hammered in my chest, and for a split second, I couldn't move. Then, instinct took over. I lunged forward and swung, my fist connecting with his jaw as he stumbled back. I didn't stop to see what he'd do next. I spun around and bolted up the stairs, my towel dropping to the floor as I ran. I locked the door, shoved a chair against the doorknob, and grabbed my phone, barely able to dial 911 with my shaking hands. I huddled on the floor, clutching the phone, whispering to the operator, when I noticed something that turned my blood to ice. The light coming from under my door had dimmed. He was standing right outside my door. I sat there, paralyzed with fear, watching the shadow shift slightly in the light, seeping in from the hallway.
Is anyone there? If you can hear me, please respond.
The 911 operator was still on the line, her voice a faint, distant echo as she asked if I was okay.
Are you safe? Are you alone in the house? We're sending help to your location. Stay quiet.
I couldn't bring myself to respond,
Stay with me.
even if I'd wanted to. I wasn't sure I could move my arms to bring the phone to my mouth. Then, slowly, the light returned as his shadow receded, followed by the faint, creaking footsteps moving down the hall. motionless for what felt like an eternity. Finally, I heard pounding on the front door and the voices of 2 officers entering the house. Only then did I unlock my door and stumble into the hallway to meet them, nearly collapsing with relief. My parents don't leave me home alone anymore, thank God. And now I check every lock before going to bed. The police never found whoever was in my house. But sometimes, late at night, I'll look out my window, half expecting to see him across the street, standing in the shadows, that same twisted smile on his face. Whoever he was, whatever he wanted, let's hope we never meet again.